Hello and welcome to another edition of our Wednesday webinar. I cannot be more thrilled to introduce our expert guest today because this guest has so much experience in the world of education. You are just in for a treat. What I want to tell you all first is that we absolutely want you to follow us on social. We've got lots of opportunities to connect with us, so definitely do that. And a little bit later, we'll talk about why you definitely should follow us on Instagram because we have a surprise for you. So I'm going to jump right in to our topic of the day by introducing, as I said to you before, a wonderful guest speaker. However, she happens to be a part of our Canyon PD family, and she's going to talk about our latest initiative to support teachers. This incredible expert has 25 years in the classroom. And Carolyn, I can't be happier to say not only that you are my colleague, my friend, and such an expert in the classroom. I appreciate all the advice that you've given me, especially when it comes to my children and education, as well as my students. So talk to us about what topic you will tell us about today. Seems pretty familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to share some exciting information about teacher support and what we have to offer. Um, as you see here, the title of our webinar today is Running on Empty, Supporting Teachers with Quality Professional Development. I'm sure that phrase, running on empty, a lot of us can relate to that. And throughout our time together, I'm going to share some tips with you and some ways that administrators can support their teachers.
Oh, this is fabulous. So this is perfect for administrators and teachers.
Absolutely.
As a teacher, as a former teacher, but also as someone who works with teachers all the time, I know that they're running on empty. So let's get them what they need and let's jump right in.
Yes. And, I want to start with that this is the perfect time of year for this because we are coming back. Teachers are just coming back to their classrooms and they've had their summer to rest and to get ready again. And we want to keep them revved up and ready to go. We don't want that burnout to kick in. So, the first thing I'd like to share with you is a quote. This quote is by Chase Milkey, and he is an author and a speaker. And this quote states, if we really want to reduce burnout, it will take more than exercise routines, meditation apps, and free donuts in the staff lounge, much more.
It takes more than donuts.
I
What?
I know donuts are pretty good, but yes, it absolutely does. And when I read this quote, it just really hit home because during our time when we were all working remotely, and even now, we hear a lot of people talking about meditation apps and different routines they need to get into, and that self care it has been a really big thing, and it is super important. However, there's more that we need to consider in addition to that self care. And when I say self care, what I'm talking about are things like summer vacations, spring breaks, or that teacher appreciation week when as an educator or an administrator, we might be feeling a bit down. And all of a sudden, we have this vacation or this great week where we're being celebrated. And then all of a sudden, as you can see the analogy on the screen, all of a sudden, our battery goes from really low to recharged. And I think teachers are coming back, and I'm happy to say that most of them are recharged. But how are we going to keep them that way?
I love this metaphor, Carolyn. Just the picture itself. My battery drains so quickly, like say by
Mhm.
October, for example, because teaching is such a challenging profession every day of the week. I really like this concept of how do we recharge. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that concept.
Absolutely. So I think this is a great analogy because we all relate to phones, right? We all have phones. Um, and what happens? Think about your phone. What happens when you have too many apps that are left running? If you're like me, my kids had to tell me, Mom, you have all of these apps open. You need to close them because I was complaining about my phone dying really quickly, right? Or how about outdated software? Are you updating your software to the newest? To the newest software so that you are running efficiently with your phone and in life as an educator.
What a great thought. This is just great for our students too. I could definitely see teaching my students this. How many apps do you have running right now? I want to just have you in one app right now with me as the teacher. Great thought.
Absolutely. It is so important for all of us. As we know, when it comes to multitasking, what we like to call it, right? We know that in actuality, yes, we can multitask, but it is not the best for our brains, nor is it the best for our output. We never do quite as well when we have too many apps open. And as we talk today, we want to think about, in addition to that self care, how are we supporting the teacher? Because sometimes the thought is the teacher is burning out. So, how do we fix the teacher?
Oh,
When in actuality, it's not the teacher we need to fix, is it?
I hope not, because as speaking from the teacher, I really don't want to be the problem of my own life. I mean, I know I am sometimes, Carolyn, let's be honest. However, I think you're really getting on, you're hitting something very interesting here.
Yeah. And so instead, we need to be thinking about a couple of other things. We need to address the reasons why we're draining our batteries so quickly. And in relating that to education, you see a couple of things on the screen that I think everybody is quite familiar with, right? We have all those systems that are in place in our schools or our districts that maybe aren't working as efficiently as they should be. Lots of policies and procedures that we're trying to navigate through. And most importantly, I work with a lot of teachers who are still implementing very old practices in their classrooms. They're not up to date on the latest and greatest strategies and best practices. And when that's happening, they're suffering and their students are suffering,
Oh,
right? Because
so true, so true.
yeah. So it's really a change of thought here. So a couple of things that we're going to focus on is reducing that initiative fatigue. If you go out there and you talk to teachers in the classroom, they will always share with you, oh, we're implementing this new curriculum, and then we have this new testing system, and they'll go on for days. And instead of actually focusing on what we know makes the biggest difference in the classroom, which is instructional practices, they're worried about navigating through some paperwork. So let's switch our thinking, reduce that initiative fatigue, and focus on practices instead of programs.
Okay, I've got to stop you here because I think this is really important. This is like the gem here, especially for administrators. Initiative fatigue. I mean, administrators sometimes change hands and they come in, they go, oh, we're going to do this new initiative. And teachers are like, oh, one more program. And then when I was in yeah, teaching and I was doing professional development on my campus, I remember saying, this is not a program. This is a mindset. This is our culture. This is who we are and what we do. So even if you have a new initiative, it's like, no, 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 let's not put it as a new initiative. If it doesn't add to our culture that we're already doing, then why are we doing it? Right. I don't know. Is that
Absolutely.
resonating?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I like to ask administrators when I'm working with them is how many initiatives have you started at your school site, or how many initiatives has your district driven down to the site level? Think about those initiatives in the last 2 years. Out of all those initiatives, how many are up and running? And can you say, yes, this made such a difference? You can
Really
imagine some of the answers, right?
great question. Okay, so now the answer that now that my question is, so what do we do about it?
Okay. And I've got the answer for you. The key here to keeping teachers in the classroom, to keeping them excited about teaching, and to not run into that burnout over and over again, is to help build teacher efficacy. When I learned more about this, I was really fascinated because we talk a lot about students and how, in order for students to be successful, we need to build their self efficacy, right? We teach our students strategies. So when they take a test, they know they can be successful because they know their comprehension strategies or they know their math facts. Well, we need to do the same thing for teachers. Right now, our world has changed a lot. And teachers who might have felt super sure of themselves, super confident that they had tools in their toolbox to support their students are now feeling a little confused and like maybe they are not as prepared. So as administrators, as district leaders, we need to help teachers build that efficacy. And how are we going to do that? Well, through coaching, quality professional development, and of course, time.
This just hits home because I just finished working with some teachers the other day, and there were literally like half of the staff is new. So new teachers haven't built that efficacy, that self-efficacy up yet to really feel confident that they really have what they need in the classroom and that support. So to me, the coaching, the professional development, and the time is paramount. And I see this in research that I'm doing right now for, STEM professional development. And it's all about self-efficacy in the classroom. And much of what I'm working on is technological skill. So how comfortable are they feeling to have as you said, the tools in their toolbox? I'm looking at specific technology tools and how comfortable. And we've started to say, pick one tool, pick two tops instead of, like you said earlier, 10 initiatives.
Right.
One initiative, and add that coaching and the PD and the time. And I think if you do the quality PD and the coaching, you'll end up with the time. I think that's how that works.
And it is. And you really made me think of something really important to share. And that's that, like I said, we have a lot of veteran teachers. We have a lot of new teachers as well. But because they are seeing different needs, it does not have to be this whole initiative, this really time consuming thing that they're going to learn. A lot of teachers I meet with, they're now working with students who are much lower than students they had ever had to work with before. So now differentiation is a great, great need. Well, they don't need some elaborate plan that they're going to have to do work for 2 hours creating lesson plans. Instead, they need something quick and purposeful.
Ooh, and personalized, I would think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if they are looking for that, the good news is we have something that can help. So let me start off by saying we have the pleasure of working with many, many teachers, and we are always hearing what they are looking for in regard to professional development. And I thought it was really important to share some of that information with you and with those of our viewers who are watching. First of all, they want skill and strategy building. I know that one thing that just gets that spark in a teacher's eye when I'm working with them is when I provide them with a resource that they can turn around and use right away, or a strategy that they can not only use in math, but they can use it in science and in English across the curriculum, because they know that that means their job's going to be easier. They're looking for content that is relevant and current. They
Yeah.
Right. They don't want to feel like, oh, this only applies to teachers who are working in areas where the kids aren't struggling, or vice versa. They want it to be relevant for them. They want it to be convenient. So we all do. If they're already crunched for time, they're already overwhelmed with everything that's going on, the last thing they need is to be out of the classroom for 3-4 days to go to a week-long workshop where they have to plan and then come back to who knows what, depending on the substitute situation. So they need something that is convenient. And we have to consider synchronous virtual trainings as well as asynchronous, which means that they can do it all on their own time. They can hop in and say, I need to learn a little bit more about classroom management. Let me hop in.
I love this. I love this. And I see you also have it at the very bottom, they're non-evaluative. Tell me a little bit why that's important.
That is such a key piece to quality professional development. And I refer to coaching here. So after teachers are able to receive the training that they need, it is also important that they either come back for follow-up trainings or are provided with in the classroom coaching by somebody either on site or from an outside source like Canyon Professional Development. And coaching is such a wonderful resource because it's non-evaluative. So when somebody's supporting you in the classroom. They are talking with you about what's going on and brainstorming different skills and strategies that could support your students' learning. They're not evaluating how well you're doing or how well you're not doing. So it's not threatening.
I love that, because that non-threatening environment, I think that's what's going to hold on to those new teachers. If they feel under the gun, like under the gaze of the administrators or even a veteran teacher, I think they might feel a little bit less, I don't know, inspired to they're hearing the negative instead of the positive. And Carolyn, what I love about Canyon PD and what you do particularly is you coach via Zoom so often. So you don't have to you don't have to ask the teacher to, okay, give up your time right here in your classroom. You can also have, just a quick coaching session outside in a synchronous fashion.
And,
So,
and and what is so powerful about that is that with the technology that we do have, you don't have to be super tech savvy. What I often ask teachers to do is to set up their cell phone to record them doing a lesson. They don't even have to have the kids in it, so we don't have to worry about signed papers and things like that. And to send me the short video. It does two things. One, it allows me to support them. And two, it actually makes them reflect on their own teaching.
ooh, and that right there, folks, is the National Board Certification in Teaching, is called Reflecting on Your Teaching Creates Better Teachers. Okay, and now Amar, you had me at go. I mean, I am a little biased, I have to say, because I do work in this area, but I'm looking at the research and I'm seeing that that quality professional development, personalized and customized, that's what our literature is telling us works. So tell me more about what more Solutions to Go has to offer.
Absolutely. So Canyon PD Solutions to Go is solutions by educators for educators. So all of the courses have been created by educators, people who are regularly in the classroom and know the latest and greatest. Canyon Solutions to Go, PD Solutions to Go is asynchronous, which means that somebody can log in. So oftentimes we have people who log in, create their account, browse the courses, then log out, and we don't see them maybe for a week, but then they come back and they've had time to digest the content that's available and they sign up for a course. These courses are relevant and they're research-based content. The nice thing also is that with every course you take, you have ready to use resources. So if you're doing a class on classroom management and it talks about planning procedures and policies, in that particular course, there are handouts that will allow the teacher to see all the policies and procedures that could possibly need to be put into place in a handout where they can type in and they can begin creating their own classroom handbook. So
Oh,
resources ready to use.
awesome. And I love that word at the bottom there, affordable.
Affordable. I think that is the biggest piece, right? When we were coming up with this brainchild, we said, okay, we want to support teachers. And we know that a lot of districts will actually pay for their teachers to go through professional development. And they love this site because it is very affordable. And you can purchase subscriptions and things like that. However, it is also so affordable that a brand new teacher who is probably not making, high dollar yet, is able to afford these courses on their own. So single subject courses run as low as $50.
Wow.
And those are the equivalent of at least an hour of professional development where you have recordings and you're listening to an expert speak, all the resources. And then in addition to that, you get a PD certificate for that time spent. However, I want to say that every month we have coupon codes ranging from 10% all the way up to this month, because teachers are going back to school, we have 50% off all single courses and workshop courses. So you see the address there, the CPD STG plus the QR code, and then that promo code to get 50% off right now, you don't have to wait for another code to come, is WED webinar/50.
I'm just taking a picture here. So of that QR code, boom, I'm getting my coupons ready for my colleagues who are needing this service. I can, it's cheap. It's so cheap as it is that I'm sure if I went to my principal and said, hey, I want to take this course, it's $50. I'm quite sure that my former principal would have said yes. And how many people others can come with you? In fact, that brings a thought to my mind. Like you could even, as an administrator, maybe even take one of these courses and then, utilize the information in your staff meetings. There's
I'm so glad you said that. Absolutely. So one great example is there is a workshop series. It's actually 6 topics. It's so much information on MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support. That
is
one you see there is $300, but with the coupon, the 50% off right now, that would be $150. Let me tell you, when you finish going through that workshop series, you will have all the resources needed to create an MTSS handbook for your school or your district, everything that you could possibly need. And like you said, you have the ability to download the videos, the resources. So what you could do is, as the administrator, you could go through the course, download everything, and then utilize it to build committees to help implement it.
Oh, heaven. I mean, that's so cheap to do that. I don't know that we should be
Absolutely.
advertising such a, no, I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
know, no, it
This
is
is great.
wonderful. And just so you know as well, we not only are able to have people purchase courses right on our site, but we also take POs. So if you and your team decide,
Purchase
oh,
orders. You
purchase
said
orders,
POs? Okay, yeah, I heard
POs,
that right. So purchase order, we take that, easy enough?
yeah, yeah. If you and your team says, oh, I really want to do this, I wonder if our school will pay for it, even though it doesn't cost very much. And they say, sure, you can reach out. There's an email address. You can reach out to us and we can set that up for you. So you don't even have to pay a penny out of pocket.
That's so awesome. And we'll have all the email addresses and everything in the show notes. So don't be afraid about that. What I'm interested, you said MTSS, and then you had also said self-efficacy and teacher efficacy. So these are 2 words that, to me, MTSS is a research-driven, multi-tiered systems and support, very focused in the research of how to, bring behavioral programs, cultures, mindsets to your school. And then that efficacy piece, that's just going to build teacher efficacy. So you're basically taking these research, because we're here at a university, we're taking this research and we're applying it immediately, which I just believe is really GCU's mission. We're here to serve, support, and inspire. And this is such a great initiative, Carolyn. Thank you so much for sharing that. Don't forget, folks, to get that QR code, get your coupon code. I am thrilled. Again, we'll have this in the show notes for you. Hopefully you all took something away. Carolyn, is there a parting word that you would recommend for individuals, whether they're administrators or teachers, heading maybe into the beginning of the year or even mid-year, end of year, about a solution to go? Is there anything?
Yeah, I would just like to share that as we're coming back from summer vacation and our batteries are fully charged, let's be proactive, right? We know that we already have all the ideas for self-care in place, which is wonderful. But let's think about supporting our teachers with training and best practices. And so let's get ahead of the game. Let's not wait until those batteries are depleted. Let's head over to Solutions to Go and see what courses we have to offer and get the ball rolling so that our batteries stay charged.
I love it. And that's called preventative medicine, right? So what a concept. Let's
Yes,
not wait.
absolutely.
Not wait until our teachers are dying on the vine here. I love it. Well, folks, our why is to empower, educate, and inspire you, our community, so that you take action to fulfill your purpose and serve others. We are so grateful you're here. In fact, we are so grateful that we're ready to give something away. This is our first giveaway on Instagram. I think I told you earlier, if you followed us, you're going to be able to just get all this good stuff that we're going to give away in the future. But right now, we're giving something away. So head over to Instagram, exclusively on Instagram, CPD Solutions to Go. We'll give away a free course of your choice. So give us a follow at GCU K-12 Ed, and make sure you follow the post notifications. The exciting part here is that when you check out the post, you'll find all of the instructions to enter the giveaway. So cameras up. Where's my camera? I lost it already. Cameras up. Get that QR code, scan, and then head over to Instagram and enter to win. This has been a pleasure. Carolyn, thank you so much for being with us. As always, like I said earlier, I'm just excited that I get to work with you and glean your expertise from all of your experience in the classroom, in the K-8 world. I'm in the 9-12 world, or have had been for a while, and then now we just collaborate on what our research says, and we hope that you folks will also share with us your information about being a teacher. So share with us on social. Again, we want to make sure you know to follow us and subscribe for free PD at this site. We are excited that you dropped by today, and don't forget, get those coupon codes. Everything's in the show notes. Carolyn, thanks again for being with us. Bye for now.
Thanks, Tori.